I am Andre, behavioural scientist. People think club nightlife is chaos, promoters, girls, tables, crypto money, but it's not chaos. It's a perfectly structured influence ecosystem with incentives, risk profiles, and human blueprints identical to those I see in political communication, digital platforms, and institutions. When I was younger, in Paris, I learned profiling the hard way, working at the access control for VIP parties. Now I study it, and here is why it matters for leaders designing real systems. Profilers in high-end VIP clubs are not party people. They are real-time behavioural scanners. They make classification decisions in 3 to 5 seconds. Wealth cues, social proof, risk triggers, reputational history, group composition. This is exactly the same heuristic architecture behind influencer vetting, diplomatic gatekeeping, and high-pressure decision funnels. This is Human Blueprint 48, decisions design, curating choices that channel outcomes. Fast decisions with imperfect data and chaos risk. Predictable, exploitable, designable. A VIP table looks like luxury, but it's really incentive architecture. For the club, guaranteed revenue plus curated status. For men at the table, visibility, influence, a stage. For women invited, access, opportunity, protection from randomness. What I see is a behavioral ecosystem. Incentives, social signals, profiling, power asymmetries. And I've seen this exact architecture before in youth networks in South Africa, in political movements in the Balkans, in music festivals I audited for safety behavior with law enforcement authorities, and in the public sector reforms I support in Europe. Different continents, different stakes, same blueprints. This is Human Blueprint 48. Decisions design, curating choices that channel outcomes. This is identical to how institutions design digital participation. When incentives are misaligned, the system collapses. When incentives align, behavior becomes predictable. Hosts, profilers now run OSINT-level scans on guests, Instagram verification, bot follower patterns, mutual networks, digital footprints, inconsistencies. And after X released its location transparency tool, fake personas and foreign influencers lost their protective fog overnight. And I've seen this before. In East Africa, youth mentors running community hubs were doing the same thing, spotting who was vulnerable to recruitment, who was in crisis, who was signaling risk. No computer system, just pattern recognition. It's the same blueprint, just different lighting. In clubs, every table is an incentive design. For the club, revenue plus social proof. For the men, visibility. For the women, invited. Access and protection from randomness. I've mapped the same structure in Balkan youth programs. Offer access plus recognition plus belonging, you shape behavior instantly. And at a music festival I analyzed last year, the entire flow of risk came down to incentives. Make the safer choice socially rewarding, and the whole crowd shifts. These aren't nightlife quirks, these are behavioral constants. In Miami or Paris, nightclubs, the profiler does a 1-minute trust audit. Are they legit? Are there mutual networks? Is the persona real? Any past red flags? I've used the same method when advising civil society groups in Ukraine or in the Peshawar Valley. Who is actually trusted in the community, who is signaling influence, and who is just performing the role. Institutional trust, nightlife trust, identical patterns. I've built similar trust diagnostics for organizations. I started and learned in the trenches when I was a student in Miami and Paris nightclubs. Because whether it's a nightclub, a ministry, or a digital platform, trust has a pattern and it can be mapped. Different stakes, same architecture. There are 1,000 yachts moored in the port, but a yacht invitation is not hospitality. It is a contract of influence. You get experience and proximity. They get soft obligation, future access, social leverage. In Zimbabwe and Bucharest, I worked with youth groups where political actors used the same tactic. Access plus opportunity plus lifestyle equals recruitment funnel. And in European politics, lobbyists run the same blueprint. Less champagne than in Miami or Paris clubs, same incentives. Access for obligation, experience for loyalty, proximity for emotional leverage. Influence Architects maps these dependency dynamics. Human Blueprint 39. Entanglement dependencies. Access creates obligation. Obligation creates influence. Influence creates power. And every influence ecosystem has risk zones, coercion, burnout, debt, manipulation. In the Afghanistan, I saw how the wrong incentives pushed youth toward extremist recruiters. In the Balkans, misaligned incentives killed trust in institutions. At festivals, misdesigned crowd incentives created avoidable risk. And in Miami or Paris nightlife, the same blueprint, different stakes, same vulnerability. Fast money brokers, stock market in the 2000s, crypto culture in the last 10 years brought a new behavioral archetype, high volatility of identity and high velocity of claims. Performative wealth, the illusion of being always winning, is a persuasion tool. In practice, it's used to build legitimacy where none exists. I've seen the same dynamic in extremist networks, online manipulation campaigns, and political astroturfing. This human blueprint, 32, refined nonchalance. In a split minute, profilers in VIP locations must decide who sits where, who is trouble, and who should never come back. Money is not enough to get access. Club nightlife in Miami or Paris is not about parties. It's a compressed behavioral laboratory, hyper-fast decisions, volatile incentives, power asymmetries, and trust markets in motion. I've studied these blueprints in youth communities in Africa, in political movements in Eastern Europe, in festival environments, and inside government digital reforms, and that's what influence architects do. We map these behavioral systems, the hidden incentives, the trust pathways, the manipulation risks, and redesign them so organizations don't build vulnerability by accident. Influence isn't luck, it's architecture. And architecture can be redesigned. Follow for behavioral blueprints. If you run programs, institutions, VIP platforms, and you want a behavioral audit targeted engagements in fluid, chaotic environments, or a blueprint for trust and influence, DM me. It's what I do.